Valencia, and based on that, we'll make adjustments. All right, we'll get the curbs painted, we'll get all that stuff done. So just by the mere fact that hopefully you see that it was done at the school, okay?
My question was, should there be subsequent meetings? How do we find out about them?
So
I read about this in the newspaper.
Yeah. So I don't anticipating having another meeting.
Okay.
What I will tell you though is, as it relates to the contract issue, that will be dealt with at the Traffic Safety Advisory Committee, which is, it's Wednesday, so what is that, the first Wednesday of the month, I believe it is. So we'll follow up with that as we wind down with a contract, as I talk to the city manager and see what that direction is based on recommendations. Should we hire part-time staff to be our traffic control officers, etc. Okay, but that will be vetted and fleshed out through the Traffic Safety Advisory Committee, which is a representation of committee members that sit on that have been appointed by council members. So that's what I would tell you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Chief, if I might add one thing. Diane, I think you're still real involved with PTA. So I know when this all first started back 2 or 3 years ago,
right.
You know, it was, I used to drop my daughter off at Valencia. You know, I have stepkids that I dropped off at Valencia, and it is crazy. I commend you guys, and Danny, you too, having to deal with that construction had to have been a complete nightmare. I know that we tried very hard to make sure that tried to get done before the school year, unfortunately. I know the chief put out 1 or 2 notices before the school year about, you know, to the parents to please be considerate, understanding that this traffic, or that this construction was not going to be done prior to school starting. But one thing I think that we have to do as parents is we've got to talk to other parents, because that's our issue. It's not our children. I mean, we teach our children to cross the street, we teach our children to be polite and all of this, but the real issue is us driving. And maybe at the PTA level, it could be a huge help. And I know Dr. Kelly, I think, sent out 1 or 2 emails right before school started about being cautious and being careful.
As well.
Yeah, so I mean, I know we've worked on it, but maybe we need to be word of mouth, work a little bit harder to speak with, you know, our parents that are driving, because that would make their jobs easier, would make us feel better as parents with our kids going to and from school. And, you know, so anything, I mean, I'll speak on behalf of myself because Gino left, but if there's anything I can do to come to meetings to encourage people to think twice when you're, you know, if you're running late in the morning, so be it. You're gonna be late. That's the way it is. Be cautious around the schools.
But people always think that the rules don't apply to them.
Exactly.
I mean, we have the people that cross and they stop traffic so that they can walk in the middle of the street because they're running late.
Right.
When the crosswalk is 25 or 30 feet away.
Right.
And I get yelled at, I get cussed out because I'm that person that goes up and says, excuse me, but the crosswalk is right there. And, you know, people turn their back and just keep walking. Or I'll say to the kids, you know, you guys should be using the crosswalk. They teach it in school, but the parents just don't care.
They
The
don't.
bottom line is that there needs to be consequences because there has been so much communication from the school, the texting, everything is involved. Our principal does a great job of communicating, and it's unfortunate that there's still a lot of parents that do not follow the rules. And the bottom line is that there needs to be consequences for them. And we cannot, and unfortunately, the PTA, and we don't have anything
No, you
to
don't
hold them
have anybody
accountable.
understand.
I think
But
another
we do
great-
have a voice, and we
Yes.
do need to really continue to pound that home.
And it's so great that you offer to come.
So,
to the
yeah, I
meeting.
mean, if I can
think
help
that's
in any
great.
way.
And thank you so much for offering to be there
That's
for
fair.
us.
Was during the rainy season, there was a survey going on, and they put up like a tripod in the middle of the street,
The counter.
and yeah, and everybody was asking me, what are you doing? I said, I'm filming everybody. cause I'm gonna turn it into the office, so you can see the bad parents that drive.
Good idea.
It
worked.
Yes,
Yeah.
it did, and
I'm sure it did.
that's, you know, I said it jokingly, but you know, that needs to, like, hey, that's your mom that drives like that, that's your dad that, or, you know what I mean? And say, you know, give them some demerits, you know, like, mommy, you drive too fast, or daddy, you drive, you know? And, it stopped for that time that they were out there and like, well, I'm gonna put it on YouTube, but you know, it wasn't me, but it shook them up for a little bit. But something like that.
What about one of those little cameras that we used to have on Mountain View? I only know because I got a ticket once, long time ago. There's like
So,
little cameras.
I do have my traffic sergeant looking back into, photo red light intersections. It's very expensive, takes a lot of money to get it up and running, but,
A lot less than payroll though, right?
well, yes, it's a lot less than payroll, but, does the city have the will for that? A lot of it comes down to what is the will of us, right, as residents, right? That's the $1 million question. You know, I don't wanna get into politics, but, we're looking at initiatives citywide regarding parking, there's a lot of issues. And I can tell you, there's gonna be people on both sides of that issue, and I'm gonna be the tip of the spear, and I'm gonna take a lot of shots for it. But there's a lot of things that residents are sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? And we gotta ask ourselves, are we gonna continue to allow a very small minority of our community to just say the hell with the rest of you? I say no, but that means some of us also gotta be inconvenienced on some of the things. So you wanna come to Traffic Safety Committee, you can hear from me tomorrow morning, or Wednesday morning, cause I'll be giving an update.
Well, something doesn't shake up this little incident that happened with myself and this lady. Something bad is gonna happen, you know? And like I said from the beginning, my concern was the children. I love that job, you know? Out of all the jobs I've had in my life, that was so rewarding. You know, you're taking care of these children and getting them, and the smiles on their faces, and the parents, the grandparents that give you hugs, and unbelievable.
We truly appreciate your efforts.
Remember, your wife probably, everything said was important, but she said something that was very important. You brought a concern to safety up the chain of command, and it never went anywhere. So we will be looking into that, because that's part of their responsibility, right? Is if we identify, that's why we had those meetings to say, are all the intersections that need to be covered? That's why we move personnel around, to be smart with our resources. If that complaint fell on deaf ears, then shame on whoever didn't take that information seriously. And we'll be looking into that.
I do agree, Chief, just to say that, regarding, you mentioned earlier about social media and about the community sort of, gearing up together to work together to particular issues. And Ms. Stone, you just activated on Nextdoor Uplands not too long ago, right? Diane, you're very active next door Upland.
I am very active.
I constantly review the sergeants, the information put out. I commend you guys for doing that. It takes effort and it's valued. It's valued because it shows that we're all linked together as a community organization for the betterment of the city of Gracious Living. And I don't take it lightly that the efforts that you're putting in. I would ask that maybe that if something could put in, because of the concerns, so this meeting, so it won't be one and done, Chief. Ask that something go put on the Nextdoor Upland site, Sergeant, regarding just precautions, because there are a lot more people. It is a Nextdoor Upland site is a greater grassroots effort that's going out there through social media, and people are reading, and something about crossing guards or safetyness, I think would be a good thing to put out.
I'll do that today.
Thank you, Sergeant.
He loves social media already.